Last time we spoke, you teased that worlds would be colliding this season. How early on were you clued in on Fiona's journey for this season? And as her world has expanded, did that affect the way that you approached this character?
To be honest with you, first of all, I mean, we were just excited to get a season two, and then I had no idea, like, just what kind of direction the show was going in, and then let alone Fiona's. I knew that, like, they were going to delve into more of the family issues and everything, but I mean, the fact that I'm tying up someone in a bathtub was definitely not on my radar of things. I mean, it wasn't me, obviously it was Tony, but still just witnessing that. And I just kind of got, an idea of the general direction of where Fiona was going when I knew the first episode and I read the situation or the instance that happened with Chris and my brother. So I just knew that the stakes were going to be so much higher this season and darker, I think.
Yeah. In addition to that collision, Melissa and Miranda have introduced new characters to this world. Which of these new relationships has been your favorite to explore and why?
For me, I love the fact that they've expanded Nadia's role. I mean, she's such a strong character, and I think it's evident, that this show really, I guess, embodies very strong female characters.
Yeah.
And so I'm so happy for her. And then at the same time, like Naveen Andrews' character, Kamdar, it's just for me, I never get to, play across them because I'm not fully, haven't fully collided with their worlds yet. But yeah, I mean, just the dynamic of their relationship as well is a great kind of balance for Tony's world and Armand's world as well. So for me, I really enjoyed the progression of their relationship.
Maybe in a season three. And, Melissa, Melissa and Miranda have thrown so much at your character, especially in this second season. You've handled that journey with so much nuance. How have you created the space for yourself to tackle these darker themes and this gray area that Fiona finds herself in this season?
I know. I mean, for me, like I said, I never thought I would be like involved in a bathtub situation with a possible murder. But, this is like I guess Melissa referred to it as push reality. And
Mm.
I think it's just finding the believability and the essence of Fiona's characteristics and how far her emotional responses go. And I think to ground that always in reality and in terms of how far would you go for your family, which is the continuing theme of the show, really helped me to just find that I guess believability in the situation, because these stakes are much higher for Fiona. I mean, this is something that she never really wanted to be or understood being a part of Tony's world. And then to see that and to see how comfortable she's become, it's also quite unsettling, which also rattles their relationship
Mhm.
in a very new direction.
Yeah, we know you can't say too much, but there's a scene where Tony and Fiona are talking about the aftermath of Marco's death and the fact that they can't really properly grieve because there's so much going on in their world. Are we going to see her come to terms with that loss as the season progresses?
I think in terms of all the other situations that you're going to see Fiona experience, you're going to see a part of the struggle and the conflict that she's dealing with in terms of what her new reality is now, and the stakes that she's dealing with. I mean, I think it all comes down to always what's best for her family, what's best for her children, but yeah, it's hard for me to reveal anything without like diving in. But trust me, when I read, oh my God, a couple of the episodes towards the end, I was like, oh my God, what's going to happen to me? Hello. And I was like very calm, and I wanted to just wait and see what they would, I guess, explain to me. But I'll leave that as a teaser for you guys.
Yeah.
because even for me, it was a huge revelation, and just a lot of things about Fiona's, crossover, and the consequences that both these women are facing now together is quite an elevated level of intensity.
Yeah, great to hear. And authenticity has been one of the trademarks of this series, and you actually have been able to involve your own parents as part of this process. Can you talk a little bit about being able to celebrate the success of the show with them and how they've helped you bring that authenticity to the screen?
I think, my parents are just so invested. First of all, they're incredibly happy to see me working. And as an actress, that's always just like, their main priority. But I think the fact that I'm involved in a show that celebrates their culture, or at least just explores their culture as Filipinos, and the family dynamic as well, they're just so invested in every way. And, in terms of just, I would just run across with them, certain ways of how to say it in Tagalog, whether is this more casual, is this more formal? And then both of them would just have 10-minute debates on how the actual explanation. I don't have time for this. In like 10 minutes. So they're just so wonderfully supportive of it. And, I think just season 2 has definitely caught them off guard in terms of how far Fiona's character has gone in many ways.
Yeah, and I love in season 2, there's a huge focus around Fiona and Chris and how that relationship has developed. What has it been like getting to collaborate with Sean as his role has been expanded for the second season, and also just the weight of his storyline?
I think, Sean is such an incredibly talented person in every way. I mean, he's a dancer, he does this, he's an entrepreneur, I'm almost just like, how do you do it at that age? So to be in a lot of scenes with him, it was really wonderful to see the progression of our relationship, and obviously just kind of like finding that true bond between mother and son. As I mentioned, I'm not a mother, and it was just extremely effortless to play that with Sean because of his just openness, and he's such a welcoming person in general, that it's easy to find new levels of our relationship throughout our traumatic journey together. And yeah, it's been fun. I mean, now it's more just like he's dealt with such heavy circumstances
Yeah.
that it's just kind of like seeing Sean and Chris very separately now. I have to make sure of that, because these are really extraordinary circumstances for Chris's character, and I applaud him for just diving into it with open arms.
Like you were saying earlier, one of the trademarks of this show is these strong female characters, and you've played so many throughout your career. Who are the women in your own life who shaped the storyteller that you are today?
Definitely my mother and my sister. Like, boy, those two are like those two are just like strong, unbreakable, unshakable women. I think they've been through, so many challenges in their lives, and all have been handled with such grace, and at the same time ferocity, in ways that they are both fearless. And so I think like just seeing how they've dealt with just, in terms of challenges of being like my mother's was in banking and finance, my sister's in crypto finance. I mean, this is a very male dominated world, and like,
Yeah.
just seeing them handle themselves is so I'm in awe of them. And then my poor father has to deal with all three of us. It's like I commend him even more.
You and the rest of the cast have talked at length that the collaborative nature that Melissa and Miranda have created on set. How has that trust allowed you to take agency over your character and her storyline?
I think for me, it was just learning about how to communicate, because season 1, I was very just timid in terms of just like how to connect or communicate with my bosses. These are my bosses, but they are the most open and genuine and sincere women who really want to create the best environment for you creatively. And I never really kind of went up to them about like my character or anything. I trusted them. And this season, I think for me, I'm just learning in a way of just how to adapt to the journey that they want to take me to. And it's more or less just something that I just kind of want to go along with the ride, even though they're extraordinary roller coasters. I just want to go along with the ride that they've shaped for Fiona and just see where it goes. And I am understanding my character even more and more throughout the season, so there's more innate choices that come through my performances rather than actually building up histories or backstories for myself, because now I already have season 1 as my backstory, that it's just innate reactions that are coming from me, from what they've given me. So I really, yeah.
Great answer. Because of the success of season 1, there's a quick turnaround between season 1 and season 2. What challenges and advantages does that bring for you as an actress?
I think just in general, the challenges are always going to be there as an actress, regardless of you've waited 10 years for a role or you've waited 2 weeks to start working. I think it's just, finding the authenticity and realism and believability in every moment that you have. And I think that's the connection that you have with the people that you're working with. Just so lucky to have such a talented cast. I mean, again, the chemistry that I have with Elodie Young is just it's ineffable. It's undescribable that we're just able to connect. And I love that we have that. So for me, I'm always in huge gratitude to her in terms of her openness as an actress and as my scene partner, so I think, just again, as an actress and this season, having those challenges of just a quick turnover. Yes, now I remember. I think it's just about, diving in and just really trusting your instincts, trusting the story that already happened. And so that you can respond with such innate instinct. So, I mean, like even the response that I had with Armand the first time I met him, was so genuine, because first of all, I was very nervous to work with him because I'd never worked with him as Martha. And then as Fiona, she'd never met him, but has heard all of these things. So a lot of those two things combined together just came out at that moment when he said hello. I was like, I forgot my name, but yeah.
This sense of family between the cast radiates off the screen. And this season, we also got to see Lou Diamond Phillips come back and direct an episode. What was it like getting to collaborate with him again in a different capacity? Is that something that you're interested in doing potentially in the future?
Lou Diamond Phillips is just such an amazing person in general. As an actor, he's so giving. As a director, he is just so aware and in terms of appreciation for everything that goes into making those 3 minutes or that scene, to, the acknowledging cameramen, everybody in the crew, to the actors, allowing them the space to create. So that I just am so grateful towards to him for creating that space for creativity. For me, no, I would never be a director. No, that is something that everybody is just like, why? I'm like, it's too much work. I like just coming on and just hoping that I know my lines and hoping that the moment is going to be real. That's enough for me for now. And the fact that I'm just working, that's good. Directing, that is something that's just too much for me. I always said this to Elodie because she wants to go in that direction. I was like, no, you go ahead and you take the reins, because she's very good with leading and everything. And I think I'm good at just adapting, put it that way. That's the difference between us. She's leading and I just adapt, kind of thing. So no, that's why I'm in awe of any director who wants to come in a show who's already a family, tight-knit crew and cast, and then tell us what to do. You have to have a lot of strength to do that.
I love your openness and honesty. And, we're closing in on the last few episodes of this season. We know you can't say too much, but what can you tease about what's ahead for Fiona?
Oh my goodness. Okay, what can I tease? Let's see. Well, the fact that I almost cried when I read the episode and was just like, what's happening? I think, Fiona's journey in this season is going to be somewhat questionable in terms of her future. And I think, just the decisions that she's made with Tony, have they been all worth it? If that's a good enough tease.
Definitely. If we're lucky enough to get a third season, where would you like to see her storyline head?
I would love to see her go deeper in terms of the relationship, being a mother, and I think just the fact that she wants to be that she could possibly be able to give her children all the things that she wants, and possibly dive into a business and all that. And obviously there's going to be a lot of conflict. I'm sure they're going to inject in that. I think I think those are hopeful things that I would want for Fiona. But for good storytelling, there has to be huge obstacles in order to get that. And I think that's her main goal, is just to find that American dream in her unique way of having a business, being, as a woman empowered, and at the same time possibly finding legal means for herself and her family. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that I would like to see the journey, but I don't know, we'll see.
We've talked in the past about how this show is celebrating marginalized voices and what it's meant for audiences to see themselves represented on screen. How has being a part of this project changed the way that you look at future projects?
You know what? And it's amazing. I had a lot of questions about that, the fact that there is diversity, there is representation. And I am so proud to be a part of that movement with this show, also kind of spearheading that. But I also realized it's like, it would be wonderful just to not have the fact that diversity and representation be such a big thing, that it should be normalized, and that it should just be a normal situation and not be something that it's like a trend or a phase, and I think that would be absolutely wonderful to see, where it's all about just the talent and all about just the creativity that people bring, rather than the ethnicity or diversity or representation. Because in this world now, I mean, you can't deny it, that it's everywhere. So in order to constantly just be like this, it's great that I would love for it to just be so normal and effortless that, of course, it's just normal that you would hire people that are right for the role in terms of their talent, in terms of what the world or what that narrative is expressing. So yeah, but still, I'm a huge advocate for the representation, because as I know, I've not seen many Filipinos or Southeast Asians at the forefront of a primetime network show. So I am just completely grateful to be a part of that, hopefully, normalization of things. So
yeah. And this show is definitely a huge step forward in the right direction, where they don't have to call attention to the diversity, like you're just saying, and it just exists. And
exactly. I think it's just like, it's when you travel, you don't expect the country to change for you and explain their culture. You just dive in. And I think that's what this show really creates for people. It's like, whoa, okay, this is what happens. Awesome. So that's something I think in terms of content and storytelling, that Miranda Kwok and Melissa Carter have really beautifully encapsulated and shaped for this show. So.
Yeah, and I also think Miranda and Melissa really challenge audiences to go that extra mile too. I love that there's no use of subtitles in this show, which, like, if you want to learn more about the culture, it's in your control.
Check it out. Yeah. And I'm sure, you've been around so many cultures, and then you hear words, and it's always that curiosity, which opens so many new perspectives and just, new information for you as an individual. Yeah.
Definitely. Outside of this project, you have another couple of films shows that you're a part of. Are there anything that you can talk about at this time?
Yeah, I'm excited about there's another movie that's coming out. It's going to be on Hulu
Yeah.
and it's called Merry Kiss Cam. So it's a Christmas movie, but it's my first rom-com kind of film. Which is such a departure from Fiona's like dark and heavy world, which I love to and embrace. But I get to play a very obnoxious, rich, arrogant art gallery dealer in this movie, and I actually get to play alongside or with Katie Lowe's, who is incredible in Inventing Anna, Scandal, and in this movie as well. But it's going to be it's comedic, it's light, it's fun. So you're definitely going to see me in such another world, and I get to wear nice clothes. So,
Right up your alley.
it's quite refreshing, especially since I'm rich as this character. So.
My final question for you. You're such a dynamic storyteller. What's left on your bucket list?
I would definitely, I mean, you asked me about directing. I would definitely not like to do that. But I'd rather someone else do that. But I do have incredible stories that I would love to share. And that's something I think eventually, just learning from the process of being on set and just kind of watching my life's progression. I would love to share some stories from my points of views, but I definitely don't want to direct. I think I just want to, I want everybody else to do everything, and I'll give you a story. That's it.